the first wash since my bike got impounded. So, like, there's not much dirt on it now, but I'll clean off the chain in a bit with some chain cleaner, and you'll see how much grime is really on that. And look at that, and that's not even like when I wash it off with the hose. You guys are wondering why the kind of POVs is like smaller than like what it would usually be. It's because I'm recording this with the Meta glasses. I just got them. So the frame is a bit smaller, but so I'm not using the GoPro because the GoPro is like kind of heavy. I will still use the GoPro for right after the stuff, but like just for chiller vids like this, probably just gonna use the Metas. Oh my god. Go over it one more time to really get all of that stuff out, and then I'll probably brush over it with my lucky toothbrush. Oh my gosh. Now we wash the chain off again. Get this off the driveway. Oh my god. Wipe off some parts of the bike. Guess I'll take this off for display in the meantime. It actually did keep it like from getting wet. If you keep it from getting wet, I feel like it might do fine, I guess. I don't know. But just don't want more stuff breaking on my bike. I have had a bunch of stuff break on this bike. Most of it was my fault, and then some of it I don't even know how it happened, because like I don't think it was my fault. But so basically, this is the chainring that has kind of teeth have worn down a bunch. Like, it happened one time, like when I first got the bike, but yeah, that only happened once, so I had to get new chainring. Primary sprocket that drives all this, right here, that snapped. I'm pretty confident that was not my fault. It just happened. I was riding and it just started riding funny, so I took this off and the motor was just like, I don't even know. I'll put a photo of that up there. And then these bolts that hold all this together, they've snapped twice now, and it's really weird. I don't even know, but so I gotta tighten those every once in a while. First time they snapped because, well, I was not tightening them at all because I had no idea I had to tighten those. So eventually those snapped, got to get replacements, and then I tightened them. So I tightened them a bunch with a regular Allen every like once in a while, but apparently I over tightened those, and I tightened them to the point where they snapped. So then those ones snapped, and I had to get replacements for those. So now I did a bunch of research on how much I should be tightening it, what I should tighten it to, and so had to get this thing, which I do like a lot. I'm really glad I got this. It is really helpful just across the board for most stuff. Just tightened the bolts and the chain. I mean, now let's get it up on the stand, drive the chain off, and we'll put some more chain lube on it. Watch how quick this is. Oh, you can't even like tell what it's saying, bro. It's like green and black. Oh. Guess while it's drying, I'll talk a little bit about like some of the stuff out. So this screen, a lot of people asked if the tow yard broke that, but no, that was me. I dropped it the same day that I got impounded, and it just was leaning up against a pole, and it perfectly fell, and out of all the spots that the pole could have hit, it hit directly here on the screen and just shattered it. And I did remove the flow lever. I kept the guard because I thought the guard looked cool, but I just didn't like the feeling of the lever very much. And I'm not going to squeeze the right because it's still wet, but I like the feeling of the stock lever a lot better than I like the feeling of the flow lever. Like, yes, the flow lever goes up and down, like, does all that, and like prevents it from snapping, but it's so far up on the handlebars, like, if I take a really bad spill, the most it'll do is just, like, scratch the end, and it still hasn't even been scratched. I'll explain what happened with the impound about right now, I guess. It was Saturday on Memorial Day weekend, and I was hosting a little, I wouldn't even call it a ride out, I was just, like, riding with some friends, and most of us were on street legal bikes besides, you know, me, but I won't get pulled over on it, because it has pedals and it looks like a mountain bike. And my friend Logan, who's on a Suron, and he's on an LBX. And already riding up where we were located at, especially on Memorial Day weekend, we were riding by the beach. It's already a stupid idea. Like, we had seen a bunch of cops. I don't even know. I guess we just weren't really thinking about it. I mean, I wasn't really thinking about it, and no one really said anything. So I kind of just took it as, okay, well, I mean, it doesn't seem like anyone really opposes the idea. So I mean, we might as well just go. You know what I mean? So riding along the beach, and we see a bunch of cops just parked there, and at like every corner of every single dead end that goes to the beach on the street, there's like 2 cop cars, and they're patrolling the beach because they're making sure there's no one drinking alcohol, and, you know, especially there's no minors drinking alcohol. And since it's Memorial Day weekend, there's especially a lot of cops. So we're riding along the beach, and as we're riding, coming the opposite direction of us is 4 moto cops. And the moto cops are coming this way, and they pass me, and so they pass me, and there's still a 10-foot gap in between me and my buddy Logan. So I'm like, okay, well, they passed me, so we must be fine, so we're not getting pulled over. But then I realized, as soon as they passed me, they turned directly behind me, and they boxed in my buddy Logan on the run into the sidewalk. And they, like, took the keys out of his ignition, and were like, step off the bike, and I was like, oh, no, dude. So they tell him to step off the bike. And after they do that, me and 2 of my other friends, we're just kind of pulling over, but we're on the opposite side of the road since we weren't the ones getting pulled over. It was him, because, you know, the cops saw he was on an illegal bike, and they pulled him over. And there's 4 moto cops. And so we're all waiting there, and I'm waiting there for 30 minutes because obviously it's one of my good friends. I'm not just going to leave him as he's getting impounded. And as the cops were impounding him, taking his name and stuff, and like writing him up. They weren't giving him a ticket because he didn't run, because, well, you really couldn't. But I turned my handlebars and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go home because this is a bit too sketchy for me right now. So I turned my handlebars, and as I turned my handlebars, one of the cops sprints across the street and goes, whoa, 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 wait. And so I like start moving a little bit, and he grabs my brakes and he grabs my handlebars and he says, step off the bike. I need to check something. So I look at his phone, and he has the Bonnell website pulled up. So I'm off the bike, and I'm just like standing there as this cop's looking at my bike and examining it, and like trying to see. He says, do you know how many watts this bike is? And I said, oh, it's 750, I believe, because if you saw my other video, there's a sticker that came stock on the bike that says 750 watts, 28 miles an hour, class 2/3. So I pointed that out to him, and he's like, huh, that's funny, because the website says 6,000. And he goes, is this the Bonnell 775MX? I said, I think so. And he goes, well, the website, the frame looks exactly the same, the display looks exactly the same, and you have the same motor, battery, and everything. Everything looks the exact same, so I have no reason to believe it's not the Bonnell. So I was like, all right, well, I mean, I guess I'm getting impounded. And I said, am I getting a ticket? And he said, no, you and your friend are not getting a ticket because you guys didn't run. And then later, 2 more moto cops roll up, and 2 cop cars roll up. So at this point, there's like 10 cops here for 2 bikes who didn't even run. We were literally, like, none of us ran. It is ridiculous. And so, out of all the 10 cops, say about 3 of them were pretty chill. They were as cool as they could be. My mom, she asked, because for the Talaria, when I got impounded on that, we had to get the bike registered. My mom said, are we gonna have to get this bike registered as well? And she said, no, you shouldn't have to get the bike registered. I'm pretty sure you can just go there, show proof of purchase, serial number, and your ID, and they'll release the bike to you. Oh, I hate these guys at the impound lots. They're so annoying. Well, most of them are. Like it's so frustrating because they all say something different, and like when you're actually trying to do something, like
their goal is to keep it in there as long as they can, because the longer your bike is in there for, the more money they are making. So they're trying to make it as hard as they can for you to get your bike out. So the guy says, nope, you have to get it registered because we can't release the bike to you otherwise. So next day, we get it registered. It was $520, and we brought it there, and there was a completely different guy that day. And that guy says, you can't register this bike. And I said, what do you mean? The guy yesterday told us we need to get it registered. And he said, nope, you can't register this bike. So, and we're like, how are we supposed to get it out? And he says, well, now you gotta go through the police department now. There's a new law passed that basically you have to email the police department the paperwork for the bike, your serial number, proof of purchase, and your ID. And then they have to approve it so that it can get taken out of the impound lot. The thing is, because it was Memorial Day weekend, they weren't open until Tuesday at 5 in the morning. So we emailed them, and on Tuesday, they got back to us and said it's approved, you can take it out. And so we go, get it out, but we take that paper there the next day, take all of our papers there, everything that we needed to. And the next day, there was a lady there. She was super nice. I really don't know what's going on with these impound lots anymore. It's so confusing. And this lady says, oh, you didn't need to do all this. And I'm like, what? She goes, you didn't need to get it registered. All you needed to do is show us your ID and your proof of purchase. And we're like, what? And so I don't even know anyone knew what they were doing there, because they all say something different. Because one guy was telling us we need to get it registered, the other guy said that we couldn't register the bike, and that we needed to go through the police. And then the third lady, she said that we didn't need to do any of that. So it was so frustrating. And it sat there for like 4 days. And luckily, the bike's fine, no signs of rust or anything so far, like I haven't noticed. And so I'm just really thankful for that. But we ended up paying about $780 to get it out of the impound lot, and then $520 to get it registered. I'm probably gonna end up keeping the bike over the summer. I don't know what I'm gonna do after. I might keep it. Really have no clue. If you have any other questions, leave it in the comments, and I'll try and answer them as best as I can. Have a great day, guys. See ya.